So thanks a lot for being here. It was here. Yeah, this is my first slide. Actually, it reveals a bit of the agenda for tonight, because it says the target, the offer, the results, the hints. That's what we're going to talk about. It's going to be definitely actually SME only, what you're going to hear in this bit of 25 minutes. So just a few words about the Executive Agency for Small and Medium Enterprises. We do a lot. We implement the EASME program. We do the SME instrument, which is actually the sole topic of my speech tonight. But we also do the Enterprise Europe Network. Maybe some of you know that the Enterprise Europe Network is cooperating with us with the SME instrument to deploy the coaching part of it. We do big parts of Horizon 2020 and a lot for all these other DGs there in Brussels that you see some of them mentioned over here. Just a bit about the philosophy behind this SME instrument. As Diane said, the major difference between all these framework programs before us and the Horizon 2020 at this moment is actually the focus on innovation for the first time, the focus on impact that is needed for it. When you interview participants from FP6 and 7, you get to hear that from 15%, they say, yes, indeed, it impacted my business. 15%. We found that a bit low. They all say, of course, the networking was fantastic and that brought us a lot. But this impact thing is really bothering us. And you may know that this DG, Directorate General, that we do this program for, was always called DG RTD, Research and Technology Development. It has now been renamed to DG RNI, Research and Innovation. So this really means a significant step in another direction. And about this small picture, many of them call this phase in between research and commercialization the Death Valley, hard to finance, and that's exactly what this SME instrument is actually focusing on. So the target group. I'll show you in a few graphs a bit of the results from the first cutoffs that we've had since June, illustrating that the target group is actually a company with a real, clear ambition to grow. Yeah, here it is. Clear ambition to grow at EU or global level. That is what we want to assess. You will see that maybe, we're close to the university here. Many spin-offs try and go for this phase 1 funding as well. You'll see what an enormous percentage of that applications is not above threshold. So these are the things we're looking for. And for the first time probably, single company SMEs are allowed as well to propose. And we see actually the most of them. It's only a few percent that have a consortium at this moment. So the SME instrument phases are actually 3. In the first one, it is only about assessing feasibility of some, let's say, some business innovation proposal. And it's very low threshold to get in there. Huh? You have to only write a business plan of 10 pages, and then your application is ready. Of course, there's always all these tacky Brussels forms to fill and websites to fill fields. It's sometimes painstaking, but it is an easy project to do this. Huh? You'll get 50,000 in funding for such a study. Assess feasibility, do an IPR study, find a launching customer, check if the strategy is good with your company, that sort of stuff. Easy, actually. Phase 2 is quite a lot bigger. It needs a quite elaborate business plan. What regards me, Diane introduced me as the coaching manager. It also needs a paragraph of how do you think you're going to cope with your company weaknesses. You have to be honest and describe them, and also be honest in a plan of how you're going to tackle those. But the phase 2 will give you a financing of up to 2.5 million. where the first is a lump sum, so you just get the 50 mil. The second is that your project volume will be covered for 70% by us, up to 2.5 million. Phase 3 is without funding. We call it the commercialization phase. Actually, we hope to develop with this SME instrument such a brand that investors will jump in phase 3 and help you further. So, like I said, the SME instrument is not only about funding your project, it is also about offering business innovation coaching. To say a few things about that, the successful applicants get up to 15 days of coaching. The philosophy about it is actually twofold. It's empowering the SMEs towards this commercialization. So we really want to put an effort in enlarging this chance for the project to really lead to commercialization. We want this impact thing really to happen. And that's why we want to guide this entrepreneur to, let's say, to keep him on the track towards the end. That's why we do this coaching. So empowering towards commercialization is there. But of course, we are looking for the opportunity this gives for us also to leave a footprint in that company. There will be a period after, let's say, 3 years when we leave the company completely, but we will have, at least we have now the ambition to then have left a company which is more capable of doing the innovation trick itself from then on. Of course, in the end, this will lead to this higher competitiveness. These are just the words we always use, of course, and quicker to the market. We have the ambition to position ourselves as helping the entrepreneur to be quicker, better on the market. Just a few figures. You mentioned 80 billion. We're happy with the 3 billion that we have. It's also quite an amount. So we think of granting 6,000 SMEs for this phase 1 project. And those have started since last June. As you said, the entire Horizon 2020 started in January 2014, but these SME instrument cutoffs started in June. We've had 3 already, which means we have 150 and 180 and 220 is 650 phase 1 projects funded already. But that's just the start. We have to go to 6,000. The big ones we expect are actually, we expect to be able to fund, we should say it like that, we expect to be able to fund 1,500. And my personal challenge is to try and let all these participants enjoy 36,000 days of coaching. I get a bit nervous if I see this figure, actually. But so far, I've started in November. I didn't join these guys so long. And so far, I have commissioned 63 days of coaching. That's where I am. You've heard it before, Lawson. A colleague of ours always makes a joke about this bottom-up SME instrument, because it's always been presented as the bottom-up new thing. But Martin McGurk from RTC North always says, bottom-up is spelled T-O-P-D-O-W-N. So in the end, they did define themes in which these SME instrument proposals would have to fit. And these are the themes. I guess these slides will all be distributed to you, so you get the chance to read it after. I have understood that in this field, subsidies for phase 2 might even be higher than 2.5 million. So actually, these fields cover such a wide range of, let's say, technologies that probably every good, sharp business plan addressing one of these industrial leadership themes or societal challenge themes has a place. You don't have to worry that, say, oh, is my topic in here? You'll find a place. This is in steps. Of course, why participate? Most of you might say, for the money. You're right, why not? But we will help you if we see this international outlook from it. Huh? There should be a European or a global ambition from your plan to grow further. This thing of this, let's say, determination of the company to grow is something that we really wish to assess. Of course, you need to realize your business innovation idea. That is what we are here for. The funding is for that, but also the support in this business innovation coaching service is solely aimed at that purpose. As I said, this is the ambition with it. Through this coaching and through this funding, we wish really to help this entrepreneur in such a way that he will truly be able to get to that goal of his initial business plan. So it's also a risk-reducing way of looking at it. And if we judge these proposals, and we get quite a lot, I will show some figures. The first cutoff we had in June, we harvested 2,666 proposals. We are judging them for these 3 lines. You will definitely have to convince your evaluator that your project will make money. It will have to be that concrete and will have to give that outlook. Targeted users, market, so it really has to be close to market. It says something here about, maybe later on, about this technology readiness level. That'll have to be quite far, you know, or from left to right on your side. If you're really early, or if you're still in the laboratory, that's not far enough. We want close to market projects that have a concrete outlook to a commercialization at the end. Of course, this is, of course, the Brussels mantra that you will always hear. Jobs will be created from this. Actually, of course, I mean, in the end, we're going to evaluate all these projects and look at the impact. And of course, jobs will be counted. But you all know that when, let's say, a banking crisis occurs, or when, I don't know, a Chinese new development takes us over from the right, what kind of jobs are you counting on that moment? I think we're developing now to really look forward to let your project make money. That is what it comes to in the first place. So we're looking at, let's say, the fraction of the turnover of the companies that comes from new projects. That is the sort of impact that we are going to look at. So excellence, it will have to be, the new word of that is disruptive. We would be happy if one of the plans would have an idea that would replace existing technology. That is the sort of vague description of disruptive. Better than existing solutions. Then you're really talking about an innovation. Huh? It is not, I mean, I come also from an organization in the Netherlands a few years ago. We called an innovation already when it was new to that company. But that's away here. This must be new to its sector or new for the use of it. And you will have to have a very credible work plan, of course. You will have to address the topics that the organization of your company is ready to make it work, to follow up, to grow. And this is also going to be a very important part of the tasks of our coaches that we're going to deploy. They are not just helping you, let's say, furthering this project or this business plan that you're working on. It has implications for the organization and for the structure of the company that's doing it. this organization will be ready for growth. There will be, I don't know, maybe a layer of management in between, or new delegation, new control. It all has implications for the company itself. So this needs to be described or addressed to convince us that we will see implementation coming on. To show you some of the results, I mentioned that 2066. Single company applications, 97, sorry. In Dutch, it's the other way around. Success rate only 6%. That sounds rather low. I'll say a few words about that. Above threshold, because that's what we think is important, 317 of 266, which is about 12%. So if you look at the success rate, you might also say, if you have a good proposal, you have 50% chance to be funded. That's how we look at it. In the second cutoff, that percentage was even higher. 178 funded from 237, means almost 75% funded from all projects above threshold. So actually we think the chance to get funded is not very low, as long as you match the criteria in the beginning, of course. This is the distribution of the projects so far, or actually from the first two cutoffs over Europe. I think the red ones are phase 2. And I think we zoom in on the UK like this. It's actually very good. Huh? The UK are number 2 or 3 in this, what is it? We have 28 member states, but more members actually proposing. So like countries like Israel or Norway, Switzerland, they're all in there. UK is performing very, very well. And you can see that in these statistics as well. Some figures from the first round. Spain is exceptional. It's really impressive what they're doing there. But you see those, let's say, almost 40 or 39 successful hits are 9% of their total number of applications. So there, Ireland was the best. They have 10 successful at this first cutoff, but they sent in only 50. So that was very good. And as you see, the UK is very good. This says a bit about the, let's say, the success rate of the small spin-offs compared to the success rate of the somewhat bigger companies. The green ones here on the left, you see of the total applications, about a quarter is from companies between 11 and 50 employees. Half of all the applications is very small companies, up to 5 employees. Now from the, what was the figure, 155 funded, you see that only 30% are these small. So in total we had more than 1,300 applications from these very small companies, and 50 were rewarded. So the chance for success from these very small, usually spin-offs, is not very big. And the chance of success for the somewhat bigger companies is really a lot bigger. So we are really looking for companies with a solid growth perspective. The very small spin-offs of 2 or 3 people usually don't have a solid growth idea. They are usually looking for customers. That is still their ambition, where we need to see an established company that has a solid growth strategy. It's a bit of the way we look at it. So about these unsuccessful proposals, we had 88% in that first raid. we saw that many were really too much focused on the project and not on the opportunity, not on the, let's say, the chance it would had in the market, the business look out of it, the opportunity they would see. Well, like we said, a non-convincing description of the company. Actually also, in this EASME instruments, you do not get, let's say, the second chance in one of these cutoffs. If you're below threshold, you cannot say, but I meant this, and please read it like that. Sorry, below threshold means you can apply for the next time if you want to, but not for this time. There's no negotiation phase. And if the description of the company is not convincing, that is the verdict, and that's it. We have some more. Not enough innovative, or without the commercialization concept. If TRL, technology readiness level, is too low, you're still in the lab, and you're not ready for, let's say, you're not close enough to the market. That's a very strong criterion. We will have to need this conviction that if we fund it and if we deploy coaching both in the right manner, then at the end we will see the immediate commercialization, or let's say the attraction of a funding partner to make the next step. That's what we want to be convinced about. Yeah, we've seen that a lot, of course. Obviously, if you are seeing this bait of 50,000, maybe to be acquired by a 10-page business plan, that attracts a lot of these guys. But it gives us a lot of work, and it gives us 88% below threshold. So that's how we work with it. We have to be ready to read them all, but it's there. So if you want to maybe raise your chance of success, these are some of the hints. Of course, assess if it's mature, but it's actually a bit of a stupid advice. It's like, read the manual. Please read the manual. Of course, you can take advice on other funding programs. I'm happy that Abdul is here, and he will say something about other possibilities. Not everything you have in your mind should really fit into this instrument, of course. Make a pitch of it and try to sell it around you. If they are impressed, you might get a good inspiration from that. And of course, many of these applicants work with consultants. Actually, there are, of course, eagerly fishing consultants walking around saying, look, I see you have a nice company. Just let me write a project for you, and we'll see what happens. But please take my advice. Pay them only if you have success. That would maybe give us a bit, let's say, somewhat less applications, and the rate of success might be better. I've tried to summarize it in this programming. I don't know how many of you do computer programs. Maybe it's becoming old-fashioned, I don't know. In my times, I did a lot of this. But I would say, so if your company has a solid growth strategy, a fantastic idea, and is convincing, then you should apply, and you have a high rate of a good chance. If not, don't apply. That's where we are. Thank you.